And now, the Dits on Wrestling podcast presents, sponsored by nobody, WrestleMania. Worst card ever. To the biggest night of the year. It is WrestleMania, the granddaddy of them all, right here in the large Susan Sports Center in Little John Island, Maine. I am so excited for this event. I'm joined here with Anthony on this spectacular pre-show for this amazing event. Anthony, welcome to the pre-show. How you doing, buddy?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. The atmosphere in the large Susan Sports Center tonight is just, it's raucous, it's intense. You can hear it from that lead, and the fans really want it, and I'm excited. I know you're excited. You're really powering through the little bit of hoarseness you got in your voice. I really respect it. I hope you're feeling all right.
I'm feeling good in anticipation for this event. My nerves are shot. Like this is the biggest pre-show that I've ever done in my entire life. This is WrestleMania, baby. I was out all night smoking cigarettes before coming on air, and it's taken a hold. I must have smoked about 120 of those damn things.
You know what? That's the exact way that you need to get ready for a card of this caliber, a card of this magnitude. And again, like you mentioned, we're in one of the best wrestling cities in the world, Little John Island, Maine. We're at one of the most historic venues in all of the world, the large Susan Sports Center. God, it's just momentous. It's huge, and I'm just extremely excited to be here.
And you can see above us in the sports center the hanging cloths of the world-famous team of basketball, the Little John Johners. They're all here. They're all represented. It looks fantastic.
I remember being, I had to have been about 7 or 8, watching the Johners just, that Game 7 against Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, the way they just captured the hearts of the entire country, really the world with that championship Johners team. God, it's just, again, this building is so rich with history from a sports perspective, a wrestling perspective. I'm just taken aback by it, and the only thing keeping me going is how excited I am for this show tonight.
And I think last night they held an under 50s Zumba class here as well. I believe that went down really, really well. So like that, if you're building to this spectacle that we are witnessing right now, a Zumba class.
Yeah, I attended that last night. It was really great. It allowed me to kind of get my flow ready and maintain, flexibility and some exercise. It was a great class. I loved it. Tammy Wells, famous Little John Islander herself. Her dad was the coach of that Johners team that won the championship that we were alluding to earlier. So it's just been a momentous and historic-filled weekend and day, and I'm just really excited. I mean,
we know that it's WrestleMania season. We can feel it all around Little John Island. Everywhere you turn, there's something to do with WrestleMania, whether it's a sticker on the side of a bus stop or...
Yep, I saw that sticker.
Yeah, or bench ads. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I saw like 2 of them. They on both benches in the town. There was an ad, and it's just crazy. The whole town is just encapsulated with it.
And they should be, because we have a spectacular card.
So good.
This could very well be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. I'm throwing that out there, Anthony. I'm throwing it out there.
People always talk about WrestleMania 9 as the greatest WrestleMania of all time, and this one, obviously we got to see how the card shakes out and how everybody performs tonight, but this has the potential to top that.
And I think it will.
I think it will too.
And as we run down every single match on the card that you will see this evening live on the WWE Network, you will get a feel for just how good this really is. And kicking off the show, like WrestleMania does most of the time in recent years. Like,
Yep.
you always have to start with a bang, and that's exactly what we're doing. We have a ladder match between Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Annie, what do you think of this match?
Just the build for it and the anticipation to see two wrestlers of this caliber, of this level of athleticism, what Buddy Murphy can do in the air, what Seth Rollins can do in the air, it's just tremendous. And to know that these two wrestlers competing in this ladder match, obviously the rules of the match we're all familiar with. The first one to build a ladder wins this match. So to see these two guys just going at it, trying to build their ladder as fast as they can, it's just going to be crazy.
And we've never seen anything like this at WrestleMania.
No, never.
Like, this is always reserved for, other pay-per-views scattered throughout the year. I believe it was on Main Event a couple of months back. But this is WrestleMania. These ladders are huge. Like, I saw one of the production crew put this ladder up earlier on today. It is massive.
It's crazy, and I personally was able to catch up with Buddy Murphy last week before he flew out to Little John Island. I kind of just asked him what was going through his head and how he was preparing, and he let me know that he's been building roughly 74 ladders a week in anticipation for this match. His hands are all calloused and cut and bruised a little bit because of all the different tools he's been using and all the different type of metals that he's been experimenting with, trying to figure out the best way to construct this massive ladder as fast and as efficiently as possible. And he knows that his opponent on that other side, and Seth Rollins, he's got a lot of experience with ladders, and Seth is no joke when it comes to building ladders. So Buddy knows that he has to bring his A game, and just knowing that the caliber of this match and that it's our opener and that it's our kickoff, like, it says wonders for how great the rest of the show is going to be.
But do you think that this time around, obviously we know how good Seth Rollins is in this stipulation, but do you think he's in a little bit of a disadvantage this time around? Because Buddy Murphy has been doing this all by himself. We've seen the vignettes airing every single week live from his garage. He's there, he's throwing these things together like nobody's business. I've never seen anybody build a ladder faster than Buddy Murphy, and I'll be interested to see if he can do that with the pressure of being in the large Susan Sports Center tonight. But I think where Seth Rollins may be disadvantaged is the fact that he's been getting his disciples to build the ladders for him, and he stepped back and just watched. Will that be a disadvantage, despite the fact that Seth Rollins does have experience in this stipulation?
I think it's really going to come back to bite him in the ass a little bit. Seth he's done so many great things in WrestleMania moments, and he's arguably kind of the Mr. WrestleMania of these last several years, with his cash-in and his defeating of Brock Lesnar. He's just had such massive moments, but he's never faced a challenge like this. And much to your point, all the vignettes we've seen of Buddy and the work that we've seen Buddy put in building these ladders himself, Seth is going to have to do that on the grandest stage of them all. And it doesn't get much grander than the large Susan Sports Center here in Little John Island, Maine. And the fact that he's been having the disciples do a lot of the building, I don't know how he's going to do with all the pressure and all the eyes watching him of this arena, and the pressure might get to him a little bit, and it's not easy. He's never faced a challenge like this before. It's daunting, it's intense, and I think despite his big game ability, I think I got to give the edge to Buddy Murphy in this match.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, he's just built for it, no pun intended. And again, we've seen the work in the garage, as you have so eloquently put, and Buddy's focused. He's ready. I saw him before we came out here earlier. He was just sitting backstage with a hammer and a couple of screws, which I found weird because hammers don't work with screws. But he was just ready, laser focused, and ready to get at it. And I like where his head's at.
I mean, regardless, whoever comes away as the winner of this match, when that last bolt is tightened, this crowd will become unglued. We've seen it many a time with this match. The camera zooms straight into that very, very moment of the last turn of the screw. Honestly, you'll never see anything like this in the world of wrestling or anything outside of the world of wrestling. It is goosebumps watching that.
There's so much anticipation, and for the fans watching at home, I'm almost jealous of what they're going to be able to see because of the great camera work that we have here in WWE. I'm excited to see, you know, Seth is going to be building his ladder and Buddy's going to be building his ladder. And I know the camera's going to show Seth and then show Buddy and then show Seth and then show Buddy and then back to Seth and then back to Buddy and then to a screw, a bolt, a hammer, a nail. It's just back and back and back and forth with the camera action. And I love that type of repetitive, nausea-inducing camera work that the fans are going to be able to see at home. And yeah, that just that momentous zoom-in angle at that last moment, that last bolt goes into the ladder, and the crowd erupts, and the ladder's been complete, and it's stood up. Oh, it's just something to behold.
There's your WrestleMania moment.
Oh, God. And it's our opener. We still have 9 more matches. Like,
I know.
How lucky are we tonight?
Very. And everybody in here, I mean, you can hear the fans going crazy right now. They're loving. I mean, this is the pre-show. There's nothing even happening in the ring right now. They're just coming in and they're bringing in their bottles of water that are free at the entrance. Like, they're loving life.
No, yeah, they're super pumped. I mean, this arena fits 175 people. There's already got to be at least 34 in here, and the atmosphere that they have just created is insane.
I mean, you can see the match graphic at the back. Buddy Murphy versus Seth Rollins. Now, when that generated a decent cheer, but wait until they see this one. Next up on WrestleMania, following Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, we have Aleister Black versus The Undertaker in a dark match. Like, this is a must-see match. Everybody has been clamoring for this for years. Like, I mean, we know Undertaker's on the back 9 of his career, but it doesn't matter. Like, this is a match we want to see. What are your thoughts, Anthony?
This might be my favorite match on the card. I feel like I'm going to end up saying that a lot throughout this talk, but I'm extremely excited for this one. You know, WWE has just done the fans another service with this match. This has been a match that fans have been clamoring for on the message boards, on social media. Aleister Black and The Undertaker, and you know, I think this match was set up perfectly. Obviously, The Undertaker has a connection with darkness. Aleister Black, his last name is Black, and black is a dark color. And the fact that these two are going to be fighting in a dark match, which of course means that the lights are completely turned out and you cannot see anything in the entire arena, is just awesome. It adds even more to it. Like, to know that we're going to have 2 tremendous superstars fighting in the ring, and to know that we're not going to be able to see any of it, I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Absolutely not. And we get to act like bats throughout the duration of this match. Not being able to see it, but hearing every intricate detail of what is going on in that ring. We might not be able to see it, but we will see it in our minds.
And then that's how I've always wanted to see it. Like, when I see Aleister Black and The Undertaker fight, I don't actually want to see it, you know? And the fact that I can just imagine and then hear it and then guesstimate kind of like what's going on in the ring, again, like, it doesn't get better than that. And this type of match quality and this type of stipulation, it doesn't fit on any other card other than the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. Dark match, Aleister Black, Undertaker. You can't see anything. Can't see anything in the entire arena, not just even in the ring. We're not going to be able to see our hands, our pens, our notes, nothing. No phones, no lights are allowed to be on at any kind. There will be no light whatsoever in the large Susan Sports Center, the LSSC. This is big-time stuff.
And, of course, there could be a passing of the torch this evening as well, between, well, The Undertaker passing on to Aleister Black, because everyone kind of bills Aleister Black as the next Undertaker. I mean, do you see that? Do you see a passing of the torch moment tonight? Or do you think Undertaker's legacy at WrestleMania will continue to shine?
Well, maybe metaphorically, because he wouldn't be able to pass him a literal torch, because that fire would give off some sort of light, and that's not allowed in this match. Correct. Automatic disqualification. And I think Undertaker is going to shine in this match, and I think Aleister Black will shine in this match. Obviously, again, not literally, because if they were shining, that would exude some sort of light, which, again, as you pointed out, is not allowed and would be automatic disqualification. But if Aleister is able to pick up this win, I think that metaphorical torch wouldn't be passed to him. I think he would have taken it from The Undertaker. This is The Undertaker's bread and butter, and if Aleister Black can beat him at WrestleMania in a match that no one can see, I think it definitely cements him as that next great phenom.
It's a match that will make or break Aleister Black. That is for sure. Who's your money on?
Aleister Black has the word black in his name, and this is a dark match, and it kills me to go against The Undertaker, but I'm going to go with Aleister Black.
Ooh. Well, shaducky wucky quack quack. Here's my prediction. I think Aleister Black's going to take it as well. And I think we could see The Undertaker retire tonight, but we won't see it. It'd be hard to see because we can't see it, but it's not something that we want to see. So it kind of works. This is a perfect scenario for The Undertaker to walk off into the sunset, because the sunset kind of might be allowed it'll be like a bit of an orange hue. The match will have finished by then, so surely the referee will let this go. And we can at least see The Undertaker, at least his outline, walking up the Sports Center to the back. Like, that's what we want. We don't want to see him retire, but we want to see him retire, but we're not going to be able to see him retire.
Right. We want that WrestleMania moment, and we're going to be able to see it. Again, of course, not literally, because we won't be able to see anything in regards to this match before, during, or after. But it's something that we're all clamoring for, and I think it's something that we're going to be able to get, to see. Again, not literally, but metaphorically, of course. And that's what we're all here for. We're not here to see actual, wrestling in moments. We want metaphorical things to happen, and that's what WrestleMania is all about.
Oh, I mean, something's just coming through here. Like, so obviously not every fan is in the arena right now.
Right.
So I'm being told that if any fan is currently watching the WWE Network on their mobile devices whilst they're in the queue out the front, I can see the line. It must be about 8 people deep. If anybody has any night vision goggles, they will be confiscated at the entrance by our highly trained security staff. Do not ruin the illusion of this match. Night vision goggles are banned from the LSC.
Oh yeah, you cannot. That's actually.
And that's just come from the back.
That's immediate breaking news that you're going to get in this pre-show. The LSSC is not allowing night vision goggles into the arena tonight. Put that out there into the Twitterverse, on your Instas, on your Facebook, smoke signal, carrier pigeon, whatever kind of communication style that you are using, and let everybody know that that's a no-no. You don't want to ruin this card tonight for yourself by getting thrown out. And just don't do that. Don't be that. Be better than that.
Nobody wants to miss this card.
No.
Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Don't bring any fucking night vision.
But the lights will come back on. The lights will not stay off for the whole night, because that wouldn't be fair, because you wouldn't be able to see the rest of the amazing action coming your way at WrestleMania this evening. And coming up next, it's the Universal Championship match. The first ever triplets match in WWE history. Not just WrestleMania, WWE history. In fact, the world of wrestling's history. It's Goldberg defending his Universal title against his brother, Ryback, and his brother, Gilbert.
Oh my God. Does it get any better than this?
Absolutely not.
It does not get
free brothers. I mean, this thing started as, they had a DNA test. It was all friendly. But then it turns out that Ryback, we go back to when Ryback was around, and there was always those Goldberg comparisons, always there, and he always hated them. And I think he's always hated them since he left the company. Of course, now he's coming back for this huge, big-time match. I mean, the nostalgia that I'm feeling here for just knowing that Ryback is back there in one of the toilets getting ready for this match. Honestly, the goosebumps on my arm. You can see them. You can see my goosebumps here, aren't they? Like they are popping. They are popping. It's like an Undertaker entrance in here right now.
It's crazy.
But Ryback was originally, because he didn't want to upset his mum. Like, he was very happy that the test came back positive. That he had not only one brother in Goldberg. I mean, Goldberg's your older brother. How cool is that? But he also had Gilbert, the Spike Dudley of the Bergs.
The only thing better than one brother is two brothers.
Exactly. But it was revealed that he was just. He wasn't enjoying it. Like, behind the scenes, we saw, him going into Goldberg's locker room, Gilbert's locker room, like playing pranks on them and all that kind of stuff. And now it's just escalated into this big sibling blood feud. And this thing is going to be brutal.
It's going to be a war out there tonight. And I know, obviously, we all know from the vignettes and the, lead up to this match, we've seen how intense things have gotten. But you were also able to sit down with their mother last week, and you guys had an intimate interview about her thoughts about this match, and could give us some insight into what's going on in her mind during this match.
I mean, of course, when I sat down with her before the camera started rolling, she was visibly shaken by this whole appeal. Like, your three sons are at war with each other. Like, you don't want that. And not only that, they're going all the way to Little John Island to fight in this match. Siblings fight. We know that. If you've got brothers or you've got sisters, you're always going to fight, but not like this. And I think that's what's rocked her so much. And then, of course, when we're on the cameras, she expressed, her initial excitement of, getting this DNA test back, especially Gilbert. I don't know why. She was very happy about the Gilbert situation. So I think it was because she was just happy to have somebody to cradle. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
She was initial joy, which is more or less evaporated into complete sadness. Just because Ryback cannot handle the comparisons to Goldberg. And she can't handle it. She said she's been sitting at home drinking bottle after bottle after bottle after bottle of water, and she just cannot do it. She can't even switch on the TV to watch wrestling anymore.
No, because she's so hydrated with all the water, she can't even bring herself to do anything. And it's that interview that you did was so emotional and so poignant, and it really hit me in the heart for this one. And I think with so many matches on this card, we're going to see, a lot of just physicality and a lot of intense moments. But with this match, it's going to be a war, and it's going to be brutal, but it's going to be an emotional war. It's going to be a brutal war. To see a family torn apart like this, and to see three brothers who are just really starting to bond with one another, they're never really going to get that chance because their bonding moments have been broken and torn apart by this sudden sibling rivalry. And then, of course, you're adding the Universal Championship on top of it. It just adds fuel to the fire. It adds more intensity. And, I saw their mother backstage, and she was just throwing them back shot after shot of water. And again, she looked hydrated, but you can tell that she's just not right. And to see someone drink that much water, it's just startling. And I hope the family is okay at the end of the day. I'm excited for the match, but I know the emotional toll that it's taking on this family.
And look, the fact that she has shown up here tonight just shows how much this means to her, how much of a strong character she was. Because obviously, as the cameras stopped rolling, on WWE.com, we were able to see Ryback attacking his mother with a steel chair. I mean, the scenes were absolutely horrendous. He was screaming into the camera, saying, "I will continue to hit Mum with this steel chair until you put that title on the line, Goldberg." And it was chair shot after chair shot after chair shot to the leg. And all of us, Goldberg just he got on the phone, he Skyped Ryback straight away, and he was just like, "Look, I have to stop hitting my mummy. Stop it." And here we are, 1 week later, WrestleMania, Universal title, Goldberg versus Ryback, and Gilbert is just here.
He's just here. And you know what? He's the one that I think is being overlooked the most in this match. And he's also the one I think that has been hit hardest by all this emotional trauma that we've been seeing. I spoke to him a couple nights ago, right when he landed here in Maine. Landed by ferry, of course, because you can't get here by plane. And he was just pretty broken up by everything. The Ryback chair attack on their mother was just so uncharacteristic and out of nowhere. And Ryback it was terrible to watch. He fucking wrecked her. The chair shots to the leg, those initial chair shots to the head, and she was really wearing that crimson mask. And if not for how hydrated she was, I think the blood loss would have gotten to her. And just the relentless nature in which he pounced on her and attacked her was something that really shook Gilbert to the core. And I don't know if he's in the right headspace for this match. I don't know if any of them are in the right headspace for this match. I think they're all pretty, distraught. But I think Gilbert showed a lot of resolve when I was speaking to him the other night. And he said that he's going out there to win this one for his mom. And he's going out there to show everybody what he can do. And I know their mother gave him some kind words of encouragement before today started, and I think he might come out of here the winner. But I don't know if any of them are really winning in this match because of how much they've had to lose.
It's definitely going to be a broken home.
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay, we've got something else coming in right now.
Uh-oh.
It's another fan notice. So any fan that is currently listening to this pre-show on the WWE Network, $9.99 or free for new subscribers. There is a warning going out that the fire alarms will be turned off during Gillberg and Goldberg's entrances due to sprinkle activity.
Okay. Makes sense. Again, we're sparing no expense here on this show. Again, granddaddy of them all. So just be advised, please continue to maintain everything on the social medias and stay up to date. This is some more great breaking information from you right there. Well done. I'm glad you tuned in the earpiece right there. And, oh, man, just if we needed something else to add to just the momentous nature of where we are tonight, I mean, that fire alarm message, that might be it.
I think it's important as well because, if a real fire breaks out, people need to know that there will be no audible alarm going off in the sports center this evening. But that is only for the two entrances. As soon as the sparklers and the sprinklers are all turned on, you don't need to worry about them. The alarms will be switched back on straight away.
Correct. And there is only, in the Large Susan Sports Center, there is only 2 fire alarms, and both of them are located inside the bathrooms. So even if they do go off, nobody's probably going to hear them, but it's good that this information has been circulated.
Now, unfortunately, the fire alarms will be turned back on for this next match, which is guaranteed to be fire. It is Brie Bella versus Rusev in an intergender catchphrase match. Anthony, fill us in. We haven't seen anything like this in WWE before. What do the fans in attendance expect? And what do the fans on the WWE Network expect as well?
I think they're going to expect, one, something tremendously unique. As you alluded to, this match has never been done in WWE history, nor has it been done in wrestling history. Not only are we getting an intergender match on the WrestleMania card, it's an intergender catchphrase match. So for all the uninitiated out there, before Brie Bella does any type of move, she has to yell her famous patent catchphrase of Brie mode. Before Rusev does any of his moves, he has to yell Rusev crush. It's an added wrinkle to this match that, for me personally, I think is just amazing. The work rate of these two wrestlers, but Brie especially, she's known for just her technical prowess in the ring. She learned at the feet of Bret Hart, and she trained alongside famous New Japan wrestler Zack Sabre Jr., and she's so technically gifted in sound. And to know that, how is she going to be able to execute her moveset knowing that she has to yell her catchphrase before every move? And how does that interact with Rusev's catchphrase? Rusev's catchphrase is naturally a little longer. He holds a little more on that sev and a little more on that crush. So does he shorten it a little bit for this match? Does Brie try to shorten hers? Brie's is only 2 syllables. Rusev's is significantly longer. Do they try and alter that? How does it affect their game plan? How does it affect their moves? Just the mental work and preparation that is required for this match is just unprecedented and something that we've never seen before.
I mean, I know that a lot of work has gone into this match, especially with Brie Bella. We've seen it on Total Bellas in the last couple of weeks. We've seen it on vignettes that have been airing on SmackDown. They actually built a ring in their garden. In the Bryan household, they built a full-sized ring. And they've been in there 4 times a day practicing her catchphrase, because ultimately that's the thing that she needs to nail. She's got everything else down. She is one of the best female wrestlers on the planet, maybe even one of the best wrestlers on the planet.
Yes, I would say not just female, just wrestlers. Just
wrestlers in general, but it's that catchphrase that she needs to nail, because if she gets 3 strikes against her for not saying that catchphrase, it's match over.
Yeah,
you can win by pinfall, you can win by submission, or you can win by your opponent failing to catchphrase 3 times. But you can see the dedication in those vignettes and on Total Bellas, the amount of preparation on getting that just getting that scream, the pitch, everything about it. Daniel Bryan has been with her every step of the way. There's no need for any technical prowess or anything like that. It's all about the catchphrase. And this is where Rusev, I think, is at a disadvantage. Of course, Lana has realigned herself with Rusev. She tends to chime in on his catchphrase when he's about to put in the accolade. Like, she's the one that bellows Rusev Crush. That will not count tonight, and that may go against Rusev.
And what we've seen in these Total Bellas episodes, which, again, tremendous show, tremendous product, what we've been able to see is Brie's dedication to her preparation for this match. Anything that she's been doing, even outside of her practice sessions in the ring, she's been saying Brie mode in front of everything. When she opens up the fridge, before she opens up the fridge, she says Brie mode. Before she takes a drink of juice, she says Brie mode. Before she cuts a piece of steak, she says Brie mode. And it's been inserted into every portion and facet of her life, and she's been saying it, and Daniel Bryan's been right there beside her, training with her and giving her that support. And much to your point, what we've seen from Rusev is him training on the physical side of it. And I think because of Brie Bella's technical gifts in the ring, Rusev really for this match has been focusing on the physical part of this match. He's been training tremendously in the gym. He's been working at the Performance Center, really trying to step up his wrestling ability. Because not to knock Rusev, we all know, without even getting into the details of this match, we all know that on paper, Rusev is not even a quarter of the wrestler that Brie Bella is between those ropes. And that Rusev knows that. So that's a major mind game that he's got to play with himself. He's been trying to step things up physically, but I think in his efforts to step things up physically, he may have been losing that Rusev Crush practice ability, knowing that he has to do that before every move. And it's not an easy thing. And again, Brie Bella has such an advantage in this match because she's so much better physically than Rusev in every way, shape, and form. So she's been able to prepare for the mental side a little bit more. And I think that puts Rusev at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, and you also have the Lana edge to it as well. Like, she's just left Bobby Lashley, so she's physically hurting from that relationship. You know, she's still limping around. Like, she has a point to prove, and I think she will try and prove it tonight by yelling out Rusev's catchphrase a number of times, and it's going to cost Rusev. And I don't know how that's the thing. You've got this mental aspect of this match. Like, are Rusev and Lana going to separate again because of Lana trying to prove a point? They may be together, they may be loved up, but her yelling Rusev Crush, that's going to be the end of Rusev tonight. I'm going with Brie.
Yeah. Ooh, I think your point about Lana is spot on. I think her assistance might actually hurt Rusev's chances in this match. And I know that this catchphrase part is such a massive part of the match, but at the end of the day, I have to go with who the better wrestler is. And Brie Bella is one of the top 5 wrestlers of all time, not even just female wrestlers. I think she's far surpassed her mentor in Bret Hart. And I'm going to go with Brie Bella as well tonight.
Oh, I mean, it's a good call. It's a very, very good call.
It's tough.
It is tough to call. It is tough to call, but I think
it's hard to go against greatness.
It really is. I mean, you can see that throughout the night. Like, when we're doing these predictions and stuff, you'll know that it is a struggle because there is a lot of greatness in this match. Just look at the main event, which we'll get to with Tamina and Nia Jax. The greatness that is just pulsating from that match itself.
We're great. Oh my God.
We're going to get to that though. But before we do, we're going for an all-time classic. We've been waiting for this match for years, and I'm not even talking years, I'm talking decades. We have Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan in a first fracture match.
Oh my God, just you nailed it. It's Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania is a match that so many of us have wanted to see for so long, and it's something that the wrestling community and the wrestling world needs, and we're getting it on this card. And not only are we getting that match, we're getting it in a first fracture match. And of course, the rules here are break a bone, you lose. And these two men are in the prime of their elderly stages, and their bones are extremely brittle. They're extremely frail. And the slightest of touches, the stiffest of breezes might in fact lead to a fracture. This match could be done in 10 seconds.
Hold up.
It could be.
Hold up. I'm getting something in now. Okay, right. This is very, very important. Another piece of breaking news right here on the WrestleMania pre-show. If anybody is seen opening up the fire exits in the LSC tonight, it's going to be instant removal from the venue. We cannot risk any breeze coming through the LSSC this evening.
Oh, my.
Justin.
Oh, my.
I didn't mean to cut you off then, but that is some big news. Big news for the fans in attendance.
That's a massive part, because now we know that the breezes aren't going to play a part. And also, I am getting confirmation. In addition to the doors being shut to not allow any breezes in, Tyler Breeze is not allowed to be in this arena for fear of just the word breeze being a problem. So
he's getting ejected from the arena right now, I believe.
He is. They've cuffed him. They're also, security seems to be going a little. Oh, they're really giving him the boots. He's bleeding pretty heavily. That looks a little rough. But yeah, it just adds to the big fight feel of this match. And I think also what's a key in this is similar to an I Quit match, when the wrestler will tell the referee to ask his opponent, like, ask him, see if he'll quit, see if he quit. The wrestlers have the ability to do that in this match, where if they feel a fracture has taken place, they have the ability to call out the X-ray technicians and the medical team from the back. And you had a tremendous point with this earlier when we were talking about this and just getting excited for this match, that how long the setup is going to take for all the X-ray technicians to bring out their equipment and properly shield the arena from getting hit with those X-ray waves that can be potentially harmful.
I mean, that is going to be pivotal in a match like this, because what if you wrongfully call a fracture and then we're sitting through this long setup of the X-ray machine, making sure the crowd are as far back as possible. Safety is key. There has to be an element of some distancing here tonight once that X-ray machine is running. It's going to play a pivotal point, because what if it's just a sprain? What if it's just a sprain? That gives their opponent enough time to recover, which is not good for them. What if Ric Flair wrongfully calls a fracture on Hulk Hogan, thinks that Hulk Hogan has fractured his tibia, and it is just a small, slight sprain? Hogan is just sitting there, and he's recuperating all that energy. And that will go against Ric Flair.
It's an added layer, for sure, and there's so many things in which people can misinterpret injuries. A fracture, to your point, might actually be a sprain, or maybe Ric Flair has patented a move, that figure four. He might think, he's done some damage to the leg bones or the knee of Hulk Hogan, but he may have only just done damage to one of the soft muscle groups in Hulk Hogan's legs. So calling for that tech team to come out is very risky, because, again, to your point, if you call them out and it's not a fracture, you've given your opponent tremendous recuperating and recovery time. And that's something that cannot be understated in this match. And I know in speaking to Ric Flair last week, he's been drinking gallons of milk every single day, trying to add to the sturdiness and structure of his bones. And I spoke to Hulk Hogan. He was drinking copious amounts of orange juice. He mistakenly thought that orange juice had all the calcium instead of milk. He's a little out of touch these days. So he had to realize, change his game plan, and was like, crap, I've been drinking, juice for this whole time, brother. I got to change something, dude. And he started getting on milk over the last couple of days, but I don't know if it's going to be able to catch up to all the amounts of milk that Ric Flair has been drinking these past several months.
I mean, he really has to hope that those vitamins and prayers are really going to do him some justice tonight, because losing out on that milk for that amount of time is detrimental to his chances this evening. And you don't want to say that against any wrestler, but that's just the way it is. He's messed this up for himself, and potentially will be on the losing end here at WrestleMania. Nobody wants to be the guy to lose at WrestleMania.
No, nobody wants to lose at WrestleMania, and especially for these two wrestlers. They're icons. They are legends in the sport. They know the clout and the credibility that they carry into this match, and they know that losing this match is going to be a dark mark on their record that they're not going to be able to ever get rid of. It's a blemish that will forever exist on their transcript in their career, and especially at WrestleMania. And to know that Hogan has slipped up like that in general, but especially going against the dirtiest player in the game and Ric Flair, it's not looking good for Hogan. But again, he takes all those vitamins, he says all those prayers. It might be enough to get him over in this match.
And the key thing there, you just said if Hogan slips up. Let's talk about that in a literal sense. If any of these guys trip or fall, that could result in a fracture as well. They need to be careful on their feet.
Hulk Hogan gets tremendously sweaty during these matches, and yeah, if his hands get a little too moist, he might grab the ropes and he might slip and hurt a finger. If he gets too sweaty and is getting the mats outside all wet, he might slip and fall and crack a bone or two. Playing to Hogan's advantage in this match though is his hip replacements. Having those titanium adamantium laced hip joints that he have made him pretty indestructible from the waist down. And also knowing that there's not natural bone in there, you can't fracture adamantium. It's impossible. And I think that puts him at an advantage. So Flair's really going to have to work the hands and work the wrists and the ankles a little bit, knowing that Hogan's midsection and the core of his lower body is adamantium enforced.
And Rick's got to be careful as well, because if he strikes that hip at the wrong part, he could potentially fracture his small finger.
Yeah, it's if Flair goes for the chop and maybe aims a little, his aim is a little off, or he hits a little too low, and he hits his hand against that adamantium hip joint replacement, it could be over. It could shatter his whole arm. And I think Hogan's ability to meet with Colonel Stryker and his relationship with Wolverine and the X-Men as a whole, I think has just really strengthened him for this match. And obviously we knew just for the extended ability of his life cycle, the adamantium surgery that he had, but it's just really going to give him a massive advantage in this match. I spoke with Wolverine a couple months ago leading into this match, and I asked him how strong adamantium really was, and he told me very strong. And then he punched me in the face. And I was knocked out for, I think, about a month and a half. I woke up somewhere in the Midwest. My clothes were completely gone, and I didn't really know who I was or where I was. And that was just from one punch. So imagine the damage that those Hogan hips can do. It's going to be tough out there for Flair.
I mean, it's going to be off the chain. It's going to be off the hook, this match.
Yeah.
But that's not the only thing that's going to be off the chain, off the hook. We got next on the WrestleMania, the greatest WrestleMania of all time, Bray Wyatt versus Kane. And don't forget, this is Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. They are facing off in a Red Lights District match. Talk us through this one, Anthony, because this one's going to be fantastic.
This one is a big one. Jerry Lawler is extremely excited for it. He's going to be involved in a different match later on this card. But again, Red Lights District match. The Red Lights District, famous for its prostitutes and its hookers. So this match, the ring will be surrounded by a cornucopia of prostitute lumberjacks. And the level of reactivity that you have to have when surrounded by that many prostitutes. They're unpredictable. You don't know really what direction they're going in. We don't know their thought process, what their end game is, what their aim is, who they're supporting in this match. So for the Fiend or for Kane, two guys that we really see as indestructible and warriors of their time, if they fall outside of the ring, we don't know what may happen to them. It might be painful. It might be pleasurable. We don't know. And it's just an added element of surprise and excitement that I am tremendously excited for.
And peeling back that onion and revealing more layers, if they fall out of that ring, that is a potential disease that they could inherit from these prostitutes. And you don't need that in a match like this. You do not need that disadvantage, especially if you're Kane and you fall to the outside and you get an STI. You do not want to be going against the Fiend going in there. And same with the Fiend. You do not want to be falling on the outside and contracting gonorrhea. You don't need that. You do not need to be letting anybody in to your region of sexual prowess. You need to stay in that ring as long as you can and get the match done.
Yes, and falling to that outside, there are risks, there are opportunities, and there's also going to be, just different elements out there. Falling into a grouping of that many prostitutes,
I mean, there's definite risk of fingers in the bum.
Oh, there's a risk for a lot of things, and it's stiff competition when you're surrounded by that many prostitutes, and it's a hard thing to be able to overcome. It's you have to really figure out how to build or erect enough courage to withstand that many prostitutes and be able to withstand your opponent in this ring. Like, how can you, if you're the Fiend going against the demon, the monster, the big red machine, Kane, and if you're Kane going against Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, like, it's just, there's so many layers and avenues and tangents and layers to this match. And again, it's something that's unprecedented. It's never been done. And when you're going to do big things that are unprecedented and that are amazing, where else are you going to do them other than WrestleMania?
Exactly. And I mean, the thing that is huge here is that neither man will have that advantage of using those red lights. They are famous for the use of red lighting, and this place will be engulfed in red light. That's all we will see. We're only going to see red right here in the LSSC Sports Center, the large Susan Sports Center right here in Little John Island in Maine. Like, it's going to be a hell of a visual. A WrestleMania red lighting. A lot of fans on social media have been complaining about this for months and months with The Fiend.
Yeah, there
can be no complaints tonight.
No, there can be no complaints tonight. And, other than the complaints from the mayor of Little John Island, Maine, they had to file a lot of paperwork and acquire a lot of permits in order to legalize prostitution for this evening and for this day, in order to have that many prostitutes in one area. Again, this arena only holds 175 people, and there will be at least 247 prostitutes surrounding the ring for this Red Lights District match. So the paperwork alone has just been, stressful on the mayor of this great American town, and some of the more ingrained members of the community here had some thoughts, of what the long-term impact would be of the prostitutes on this community and on the arena itself. And it's so impactful, this match, and the stipulation is huge, and there's just a lot of big, hard things that are happening here, and the competition just doesn't get much stiffer.
And you don't want any of this to be in vain either, because
no,
I mean, this, like you just said, like, anything could come out of this match. We're talking the political side of things. The population of Little John Island itself could be impacted by this match.
No, yeah, you don't want anything to happen in vain, and you don't want to catch any political backlash or potentially, get the shaft in this match. So it's tough. There's a lot of angles. There's a lot of avenues to be played, but I'm intrigued and I'm excited in more ways than one, and I'm ready to go for that match.
It's going to be huge. Who have you got?
Oh, I think Kane senses how big of a match this is, and with how much he's been training, I've been lucky enough to witness some of it. It's been extremely exhilarating, and I think just the level of eroticism that he's ready to take, his game to, I'm going with Kane.
I mean, don't forget, he has the experience with Katie Vick as well. He's willing to go to any length.
Yep. The bigger the better for Kane, so he's ready.
Oh, this is going to be a huge match. Among many other huge matches here at WrestleMania that you can see live on the WWE Network if you are not lucky enough to be here in attendance. The crowd, as you can hear, is still going absolutely crazy right now. It's crazy. Like, you can hear absolutely everything. You couldn't hear a pin drop in here.
No, you couldn't hear anything.
But could you hear a needle, Anthony? Because coming up after this match is maybe the biggest match on the card. It's Eric Young versus No Way Jose in a needle in a haystack match. Once again, first time ever in a WWE event, in a wrestling event worldwide.
This feud has escalated very quickly in the last several weeks, and this past week on Raw We saw one of the most violent and brutal attacks we've ever seen, and you were firsthand to see it. Kind of run us through that just disgusting display that Eric Young exhibited this past Monday on Raw.
I mean, I was disgusted to see this. It blew up on social media. No, I don't think anybody has seen anything as brutal as this. I mean, this thing has escalated so much over the last couple of weeks. No Way Jose was coming down to the ring for his match against Riddick Moss, and Eric Young out of nowhere popped out of the crowd, needle in hand, and pricked every member of that conga line as they walked past him. It was disgustingly brutal.
It was one of the most heelish behaviors I've ever seen. I've been in this wrestling business for the last 75 years, and I have never seen anything more cowardly than the attack on that conga line issued by Eric Young on this past Monday. And just to be there for you were there at ringside, you were able to see it firsthand. I was backstage, and the carnage backstage, the amount of wrappers that were on the ground from all the discarded bandages that were used. There are 24 people in that conga line, and they each got pricked on their finger. That's 24 bandages. That's 24 little pieces of paper from those bandages, from the wrapper on the outside, let alone like the little parts that are attached to the bandage that you remove that keeps the bandage part sticky. They were all over the ground because it was just a panic and a massive, flood and rush to close these wounds. And there were droplets of blood everywhere. It was just the fear and the panic that you saw in the conga line. It was just something like I'd never seen before, and I never thought that I would have to witness carnage like that on a firsthand level. But much to Jose's credit, he's taken it and he's used it as fuel, and I've never seen him more focused and more enraged than he is right now at this moment.
But the problem is, tonight he may not have that conga line. I managed to catch up with Eric Young backstage on Raw after this horrific attack. And he told me the key thing that I took away from this chat, it was on WWE.com, a WWE.com exclusive.
Yep.
You don't want to miss those stuff. Everything breaking goes through on there, just like on the pre-show when it comes through on our headsets. We break it to you. WWE.com, great place for content. And this is another huge thing coming out of that. It was a needle that Eric Young took. He doesn't know where he got it from. Anything could have been on that needle. So we don't know if the conga line is going to be here tonight in the LSSC arena.
And that's a massive thing.
They may have contracted a disease.
You don't know what they've gotten. And we know that Jose, takes his, the Undertaker had his urn, and Hulk Hogan had Hulkamania and steroids. And Jose has that conga line. He feeds off of them. They give him his support. They are his moral compass. They are his guiding light in all times, but especially the darkest of times. And he does not have them to rely on in this match. And knowing that the ring is going to be surrounded by, 123 stacks of hay, how do you find the needle? Where do you find the needle? Which stack is it in? Where do you start? And Jose is going to be tremendously alone out there. He's going to be by himself. And even though I hate what he's done, Eric Young really has done a tremendous, masterful job of isolating Jose in this moment and making sure that it's just a one-on-one fight and getting into his headspace a little bit.
I mean, I think Eric Young has the upper hand tonight because I don't know if you heard, but backstage we had the hay truck. And I saw with my own eyes Eric Young swimming through hay. He's mastered the technique to scour every individual piece of hay. Like, he knows what he's doing. But there are so many stacks out there that it may just take him a lot longer than what it would have taken in that truck. I don't believe he found the needle in that truck, but I don't know if there was a needle in that truck. That may have been the issue. But tonight, at WrestleMania, in Little John Island, in the LSCC, it's going to be insane. Imagine the pop of these 38 people in the crowd when Eric Young or No Way Jose finds that needle and is able to use that foreign object as a weapon against their opponent. It is going to be off the charts. Shucky ducky wacky quack quack.
We've never seen in-ring carnage like we're going to see in this match. It's easily the most brutal match on this card. And yeah, Shucky Ducky Quack Quack perfectly encapsulates what this match is, what it's about. I don't even have a prediction for it. I'm hoping I know I'm supposed to be an impartial, commentator and analyst here, but I again am disgusted with Eric Young's behavior, and I hope Jose finds a way to win this match, and I hope Jose can find a way to get through the hay, and at the end of the day, I hope he gets the win.
And I think because he's been surged on so much by losing his conga line last week because of that brutal attack, I think that will add an extra layer to his mentality in this. He's going to want to seek revenge. He's going to want to find that needle first. If they're not both diving out of that ring and the moment that bell sounds looking for that needle, then they're both insane. You know for a fact that No Way Jose is going to be straight out there swimming through hay looking for that one needle that the referee has buried in the haystack. Of course, they are blindfolded during that process. They cannot see where the needle has been placed because that would be an unfair advantage. I honestly cannot even fathom just how disgustingly, amazingly brutal this match is going to be.
Yeah, and you know that Jose feels like he is bearing the burden of the emotions of the conga line on his shoulders. Like if he loses in this match, if Jose cannot find the needle in the hay and he has to face the conga line and he sees them, what do you say? Do you pray? And this type of match holds so much sway over both of these men's careers, and it'll weigh so heavily on the direction that they go in, because you don't recover from a match of this brutality, both mentally and physically. And I'm really pulling for Jose here. I hope the conga line is okay. I hope Eric Young gets his, but I think the advantage right now lies with Eric Young, and it's gonna be interesting to see which way this match goes.
And it's a great idea. Whoever's booking this card backstage has pulled an absolute blinder here, because the haystacks, not the entire stack of hay will remain at ringside, just a couple.
You hear that siren right now?
Oh, what's going on?
You heard it?
Yeah.
I heard they were if I'm hearing this correctly, they were a couple members of the conga line were trying to get into the arena just now. They were just escorted out by police because they were labeled as DEFCON 17. In terms of their critical infection level, based on what was on that needle that Eric Young got them with last week on Raw.
Fan safety is paramount.
Goodness.
And that just shows the level of dedication to fan safety that WWE has.
Oh, brilliant.
Tremendous.
Kudos to if it's anything that matters to this company and this business, it's fan safety, it's wrestler safety, and it's morality. And the way that we've handled this, I'm extremely proud to say that I work for the WWE on this evening.
And all of that is set to continue with this next match, which we have been looking forward to for years. I'm talking 5 or 6 long years. Everyone who is a fan of professional wrestling has wanted this. Everyone who's a fan of other sports has been wanting this. It is, of course, the 4 horsewomen of NXT facing off against the 4 horsemen of Little John Island's McDonald's Farm. It's going to be huge. Horsewomen versus horsewomen. We've wanted this for a long time, Anthony. What are your thoughts?
This match has been on the minds of wrestling fans for years. When you've seen, Charlotte Flair and Bayley and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch come through the ranks and refer to themselves as the 4 horsewomen, you cannot hear that and not think, those 4 horsewomen, and then think of the 4 women horses of Little John Island, Maine. And these women horses are some of the best in their class. The breeding stock that they come from, their coats are luxurious. Their manes are just gorgeous and breathtaking, if I may say. And I think more than that, this match is going to be filled with pure hatred. I caught up with Sprinkles, who is the leader of the women horses, and she, through a translator, of course, spoke to me about how much disdain that these women horses, but the horses as a whole, have for Charlotte and Becky and Sasha and Bayley. And she mentioned how, the four horsewomen call themselves the four horsewomen, and they're not even horses. Just the amount of indignation that these women horses, and Sprinkles in particular, feels, especially towards Charlotte. She hates her, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because Charlotte looks like a horse a little bit. I don't know. But it's intense, and this is going to be – I know there's no real – weaponry involved in this match, but it's going to be a war out there tonight. And I really don't have words for it, but I'm extremely excited for it. And if the energy from that Sprinkles has carries over to the rest of her team and into this match, there's going to be some bloodshed.
I mean, look, I know that Lance Storm has been on Little John Island now for the last couple of weeks, training the four female horses for this match. And they have been put through the ringer in preparation for this. But this is, of course, their debut match here in WWE, their debut match in wrestling in general. I mean, their lack of in-ring ability is going to hinder them here, but their brute strength and just strength in numbers. You got to remember, these guys have been together for 2 long years. They have bordered the same fence for that duration of time. They have remained in the same square, essentially, on this farm. Never, ever fallen out with each other. But then you look at the NXT's four horsewomen that at some point or other, they've bickered, they've fallen out about something pointless, something meaningless, but that will play against them. So can the four horsewomen of NXT coexist? And can the four female horses live up to the expectation of WrestleMania and in a debut match with a lack of wrestling ability? Do you think that will hinder them?
I really don't. I think their aggression and intensity is going to carry them through this match against the four horsewomen. If the attack last week on SmackDown was any indication, we saw Princess Peaches come out on SmackDown, and the back kick that she gave to Sasha Banks to her face knocked her out cold. And we saw Becky go for the disarm her on Sprinkles, and Peaches bit 2 of Becky's fingers clean off because her horse jaw is so strong. And I think between, Sprinkles and Peaches and and Carmella, the horse, obviously, not the female wrestler. And then Queen Mary, who's the last of the female horses. I think just their overall brutality, and when you add Lance Storm's instruction on top of it, it's just a recipe for success and a recipe for just brutality. These women horses got their introduction into wrestling by watching old school ECW wrestling tapes. So they are used to just no pain. They're used to violence, and they're ready to bring that to the horsewomen. And I don't know if they're ready for it, especially with the bickering and all the, Charlotte's tried to overstep Becky and Sasha and Bayley, and they've all tried to, jump over the other one at different points in their careers. And how can you coexist for one night in the face of a threat like this? I don't know if they can.
And I think that will prove to be their downfall, because you've got 4 individuals looking to prove themselves tonight. Never once stepped in a ring before, apart from the one that Lance Storm set up for them over on the farm, just down the road from here. So big shout out to Farmer McDonald. Give him a round of applause, actually. Farmer McDonald over on McDonald's farm down there. Great. I mean, such a great man. He is, of course, here in attendance. No, actually, I'm hearing he's not here in attendance. He was attempting to bring in night vision goggles, and has been removed from the arena. That's a massive shame.
What a dick.
That is a shame. But we do have the horse whisperer here, you know, just because we do need to, of course, fan safety comes first. We do need a horse whisperer here just in case anything gets out of line. They will, of course, be talking to Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha to make sure they don't do anything. The horse whisperer will be in their corner this evening, so they're able to communicate with them. But it's going to be insane. This whole thing, I just cannot fathom how this is going to play out. Of course, the horses are too big to all stand on the aprons. You're going to have two on the outside, so that's potentially two less people you can tag in.
Yeah, it's a different dynamic for sure. And this match, I know we are a wrestling company, but this match, there's not going to be any wrestling. This match is going to be a fight from the moment that the bell rings. And the heritage that McDonald's Farm has here on Little John Island, Maine, you know, of course, Candy Caramel, the original horse of McDonald's Farm, she was in a photo shoot with Hulk Hogan back in the day, and her love of Hulk Hogan and wrestling is what spawned these wrestling horses and the lineage of this farm. And these four horses tonight, these four women horses led by Sprinkles, they're doing this for Candy Caramel and just the whole farm and the lineage of where they come from. And I think that emotion combined with the hatred that they have for the four horsewomen it's a deadly mix, and it's a powerful cocktail for sure.
And I think based on that alone, I've got to put my money on the four female horses tonight. I cannot back the NXT's four horsewomen.
No, and I'm in complete agreement with you. I have never. It's tough for me to say, but I've never. When I looked at Sprinkles, when I looked at her in the eyes, I knew that I was looking into the eyes of death itself. And that's something that I will never forget. And I don't think it's something that these horsewomen are going to be able to. I'm sorry, I know I'm breaking up a little bit, but I don't think it's something that they'll be able to overcome when you just they're just so violent. And I don't think that Charlotte and Becky and Sasha know what's coming for them tonight.
Speechless. I mean, it's going to take a dark turn.
I saw death in her eyes.
They don't stand a chance.
Soulless. Just pure black. All of them. It's shaking me to my core.
I'm glad I wasn't there. I don't think I could handle that.
What the fuck they're doing on that farm?
I mean, we weren't. I mean, we tried to get access to the barn where they were training with Landstorm. We were not allowed access, so we cannot see the depths that they are willing to go to win this match tonight. But based on that conversation alone that you had with Sprinkles, I'm scared. I'm scared for the four horsewomen.
What stuff?
I mean, look, that match is going to happen tonight. You have me a little bit concerned about what I'm going to see with my eyes here in the LSSC, the Large Susan Sports Center.
Yeah.
I mean, we need something to lift our spirits, and we have just that. And this is going to go. This will be a WrestleMania moment for years to come. We, of course, before the main event, have a little treat for you. It's going to be a musical Thrones match. Oh, yeah, exactly. It sounds just as good
Yes.
as anything else on this card.
Amazing.
It's tremendous. It will feature every, or most of, because we couldn't get everybody in. We couldn't get everybody in. There's too many. It will feature most of the King of the Ring winners who adopted the king. They became king for a little bit.
Man.
They will compete in this musical Thrones match, and it will be officiated by none other than our own resident king in-house, Jerry the King, Lawler.
Amazing.
And we're gonna have King Booker. We're gonna have King Barrett. We're gonna have King Corbin. We're gonna have Sheamus, and we're gonna have William Regal.
Oh man.
I mean, how do you even prepare for something like this?
Is
it cardio?
I caught up with William Regal. I caught up with William Regal before he landed this week, and he told me, to hit on those points. He told me it was all about timing. He had set up an intricate labyrinth style amount of chairs in his home, and was practicing with different tunes, different musical genres, because the music that they're going to be playing to tonight in the ring, none of us know what songs are going to be used. So Regal was practicing with different genres, different melodies, different loops, trying to just really figure out his timing and his style, because this is a type of match that none of these great wrestlers have experience in, and it's something that they're all facing for the first time, and none of them want to lose this match on the grandest stage of them all, and none of them want to be embarrassed. So William Regal, for me, told me it was all about timing, whereas Baron Corbin, on the other hand, said it was all about cardio. He was afraid that he did not have the cardiovascular endurance needed to circle these chairs this many times, and he really hinted on less of the musical styling and genre types and more on the track length. Because this match has no time limit, in theory, someone could play a song for a minute and a half or 10 minutes. We don't know when they're going to stop it. So he was very concerned about the cardio aspect.
And precision is key as well, because with musical chairs, there usually is a lack of armrests to those chairs. These are thrones. They have arms to the throne, so it's going to be difficult planting your butt cheeks right on the seat. You might hit the arm. And therefore, that could allow somebody like Sheamus, somebody like King Barrett, somebody like King Booker to weasel his way in that gap where you've just missed the seat. They could weasel their way in, take your seat, and you could see yourself eliminated from this match.
It's a tough way to go out, and it's in so many ways to all the other matches that are on this card. There's just another added layer here, and it's something you have to think about, and it's something that is on everybody's minds, even more so on the minds of King Barrett, who, as has been well documented on WWE.com and on the network, his uncle was killed by a chair. So knowing that he has to be in the ring with, something that killed his uncle, that's just another aspect and another layer added onto this match. And when I caught up with him and asked him, hey, how'd you prepare for this match? For him, it was really just coming to grips with the chair that, killed his uncle. He went to the prison island where that chair was being held, and he actually came face to face with him to kind of just show him that, the chair didn't hold any power over him anymore, and that he had overcome everything that chair had stood for. And it was a tremendously emotional and powerful moment. And I don't know if he's focused on that too much and hasn't been preparing for the technical mastery needed to win this match.
I mean, that's the concern. He was there for 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days.
He did not break eye line with the chair.
No, it was the security guards were all very creeped out. They didn't understand what was going on. They also weren't really sure why the chair was in prison, but they got the message pretty loud and clear based on, King Barrett's stares, which are just icy and cold.
I cannot see King Corbin overcoming that trauma and being able to plant his butt cheeks on a seat this evening.
No, it's tough. It's all...
I mean, anybody could win this. Literally.
Anybody really could.
Anybody could sit down on a seat, and anybody could miss a seat. That is the name of the game.
It's randomized, and it's there's some skill to it, but there's also a lot of luck. There's just so many ways that this match can go, and
you just don't know what Jerry Lawler's going to do.
No, you don't know. It's all Jerry Lawler. Like, how does he feel? What is he feeling tonight? Is he feeling a little old school jazz? Is he feeling a little, metal music? Is he feeling a little hip hop? Is he feeling a little salsa? Is he feeling some Stairway to Heaven, perhaps? Like the song length and choice, and maybe he's just going instrumentals, maybe no lyrics at all. It's a mental game. It's a mind game, and it's going to cloud up your headspace, cloud up your judgment, and that's in addition to just all the physical preparation that you've had to go through, and for King Barrett, all the emotional prep, and it's the type of match that there's a reason that this match was outlawed in Japan in the 90s, and there's a reason why this match hasn't been done over here in North America ever. There's a lot of wear and tear on your body, on your mind, on your soul in this type of match, and I hope all five of these competitors really come out strong. It's so tough to call who a winner is going to be, but I don't even know if in a type of match like this, if the winner really does even win, because they're never going to be the same again once they leave this match.
The physical and mental toll that this kind of match takes on you. You could take a bruise to one of your butt cheeks if you do sit on that armrest, like we said earlier on. People seem to think that it's just all about the seat. You've got to be careful with that armrest. Like, that thing could hit your butt cheek, and you could get a bruise. It could land between the crack of your arse.
Man,
that's even more painful. You do not want it, and you do not want to see that.
And I don't want to see that. I'm still, trying to.
And you don't want to put your arm on that chair as well. If you sit on that chair, you don't want to put your arm on that chair.
Gross. I'm still trying to recover from the disgusting and brutal attack of Eric Young and that needle this past week on Raw, and I'm not ready emotionally to see any type of, chair to arm to butt, mistakes here. And I for one hope that these guys have all trained properly and are all prepared to operate in a precise manner. But everything you've laid out here, it's a big time hazard, and it's something that everybody has to consider, especially in the audience. This is a match that if you've got children, please consider having them not watch. Please consider removing them from the room, turn off the network. This is something that, everybody has to be prepared for and prepared to deal with the consequences for.
And despite the fact that Sheamus has an allergy to poo particles, I do think that he is going to come away with a victory in this one. I don't know. I just feel that he is going to dethrone every other King of the Ring winner that is in this match, including Jerry the King Lawler. He will be the sole king of Little John Island at the end of this.
He really wants it. He wants it bad. He feels that this is his crowning moment. This is his WrestleMania moment. This is what he wants to be associated with for the rest of his life. He wants this musical throne champion, association. And, if he wants it that bad and how much he's dedicated his life to it, I think he might come away with the victory.
And I would say that nothing gets as special as this right now, but it does, because we have the biggest main event in the 36 years of WrestleMania.
Oh,
this
boy.
is huge.
So excited.
Like, I couldn't sleep last night. I mean, you saw me out there earlier smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. Like,
chain smoking.
I am pumped.
Just fists
about
of
this
cigarettes.
match. Like, my lungs hurt because of this, but it's worth it to see this match. It is going to be for the Raw Women's Championship. It's going to be Tamina defending against Nia Jax. Supposedly, her family. Supposedly.
It's torn the family apart.
In a Chasing Shadows match.
Oh my God.
Again, first time ever in wrestling history. This is why this is the greatest WrestleMania of all time.
Definitely.
Because nobody knows what's going to happen. So many stipulations have been introduced. Nobody knows what they're going to see. Especially when you look at the Aleister Black and Undertaker match. You don't know what you're going to see because you can't see it. But you can see the main event tonight. And Anthony, take us through. Like, what are we going to expect from this? Like, what are the rules? What's going on?
Well, in a Shadows match, first off, I want to say, to your point, this match has never been done in wrestling history. There are stories and legends that this match used to take place during medieval times. And there are a few stories that the former Norse kings and queens back in the day used to determine who would lead their tribes and lead their lands with this type of match. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's something that has a reported, heritage and lineage, but it's all hearsay. It's all legend. It's not things that we have confirmed records about. We know that archaeologists have looked for proof of this type of match and they haven't been able to find anything. But in this Shadows match, we know that Tamina and Nia Jax, they will both get into their black morph suits, and we know that the first to tag the other Shadow wins this match. And when you have two wrestlers of this caliber, Tamina and Nia, we were already treated, by the time this match happens, we will already have been treated to the elegance in the ring that is Brie Bella. And now we're just going to get pure work rate and athleticism and technical savvy of Tamina and Nia. And on top of that, they got to figure out a way to tag the other Shadow, but not let their Shadow be tagged themselves. There's a reason that this match had to be sanctioned by the U.S. Senate and the Congress and the House of Representatives. There's a reason why we had to jump through all these loopholes. And I can't think of a better way to end the greatest WrestleMania than with this match. But I'm also very fearful for what it's going to lead to.
And the thing is, you talk about what the government have done there, but internally within WWE, we have had to manage this match because this thing could be an epic encounter that nobody is prepared for. We have had to slap on a 2-hour time limit to this match. You talk about tactics in this match. This whole match is based on tactics. My tactic, if we were dressed in morph suits right now, Anthony, I would sit one end of the arena and you would sit the other end of the arena. There's no issue with fear of being tagged. You're so far apart. You're at least 6 yards away from each other. It's the perfect distance. You're not going to be tagged. But you could just sit there and never ever lose this championship match. You can never be a loser in the main event of WrestleMania. But if you sit in the stands for 1 hour and 59 minutes and 59 seconds, you don't want to be in that position. Because if it chimes to 2 hours, it's a draw. But Tamina will lose the Raw Women's Championship.
And then it'll be up for grabs. Yes, it'll be vacated. And it's, this title run that Tamina has been on, we all know it's dominated social media headlines. It's been on ESPN. It's dominated our lives. She has held this belt for 6,072 days. It is the single greatest title reign in the 84 years that I've been covering this business and covering this sport. And I don't want to see her lose this belt. I'm not trying to play favorites here, but I don't want to see her lose this belt because it had to be vacated because neither her nor Nia could tag the other Shadow. If Tamina's going to go down, I believe she's going to go down as the fighting champion that we've seen her to be. I think she's going to go. I don't think she's going to sit in one end of the arena and try to separate herself from Nia. I think she's going to go for the kill. I think she's going to try and tag Nia's Shadow as quick as possible and come out with the victory. And if she happens to lose, I think she'll go out with honor and go out with class and dignity. I don't think she's going to go out scared, and if we've seen anything, and know anything from the title reign that she's been on, it's that, she doesn't back down from any challenge. She is the definition of a fighting champion, and she's the greatest champion that we've ever seen. And I hope that this match doesn't tarnish this reign for her.
I do worry for Tamina because I know just how much Nia Jax has been preparing. We've seen it out in the back earlier this afternoon. She is rotating on the spot. She's keeping one foot planted, rotating around, changing the leg, rotating. She has all angles covered. If Tamina tries to get close, she can spin straight away. She's been working on that all afternoon. I can guarantee she's been working on it for weeks as well. She is fully prepared to take any move that Tamina makes, whether that's coming up from behind. Maybe Tamina will leave the sports center and creep around to one of the fire exits, which are allowed to be opened at this point because Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan are backstage. She can use any of the fire exit. It doesn't matter. If she can use the element of surprise on Nia Jax, she may get her. But this rotating is going to play a key part.
It's going to play a massive part. It's the dedication that Nia has shown to this match and to her craft of being one of the best wrestlers in the world has been tremendous for this match. And I know all the training she's done, but I think what is more impressive on the other end is that Tamina, from what we've learned, has been training with Peter Pan's shadow. And for those of us who have seen the documentary known as Hook, we know that Peter Pan's shadow is very tough to catch. It's also very mischievous. It's also very crafty. It's fast. It's got explosion. It's got burst. And Tamina's been training with that shadow. She's been training with the Lost Boys and with Pan's shadow in particular, which is one of the most difficult and gnarliest shadows in all of shadows to wrangle and to fight. And her receiving that type of training, I wonder how she's going to apply it in this match, knowing how hard Nia's been training and Nia's been working. But it's something definitely to see and behold. And both of these women's, dedication to their craft in this match is going to be on display. And I'm truly excited for it. This some of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history, Doink versus Crush and Brie Bella versus anyone else because, Brie is just greatness, and the Great Khali versus the Big Show. When we think of the greatest matches in wrestling history, I think this match is going to be up there with it at the end of the day. That's how important and how impactful I think it's going to be.
Do you think this is going to affect their relationship?
I don't see how it can't. They're family, supposedly, but they're family. And I think whoever wins and whoever loses, the whole family loses. It's going to tear everyone apart. This belt and this reign that Tamina's had is so important to everyone in the family, even to the children that haven't been born yet, that don't even know what wrestling is. It's important to them. That's how important it is. And how do you sit down at Thanksgiving dinner next year knowing that, you've got two family members at the table who, had to try and tag each other's shadows? How do you deal with that if you're Nia or Tamina, let alone just one of the other family members? That unspoken elephant in the room is something that I think is going to weigh heavily on this family as a whole for years to come.
And the mental strain that you must go through as well as a result of this match, whoever gets tagged, if you get any kind of hand anywhere on your body, you will freak out. Like, this will play on the minds of either Tamina or Nia Jax for years to come. And it's horrible to see. But these people, they know what they're stepping into going into this match. Like, this is a mentally draining match. It's like playing chess from one end of the arena to the other. Like, it's tactics, just tactics. Like, you just don't know how this is going to play out. But for me, I think Nia Jax has got it. I've seen her do that 10-minute drill backstage, and I'm confident that she can use that to the best of her ability tonight, thwart any attempt that Tamina has to sneak up behind her and land the tag right on the shoulder.
I see where you're coming from, and I understand. But I got to go with the champ in this one. I got to go with Tamina. Her reign has been too great. I don't think she's at a point where she can be defeated yet. Ever since she defeated Brie, 6,072 days ago for this belt to start this reign, she's just been at the pinnacle of this sport. And I don't think tonight is the night where she loses that belt. And I know the stipulation is very tough for her and it's very tough for Nia. And just, you have to move like a silent ghost, like a shadow. And, just one quick tag, one little touch, and you're done. But I'm going with the champ. I think her pedigree and her lineage in these last couple of months, especially with she's been defending this belt 8 days a week, which is nuts because there's only 7 days in a week, and I just can't pick against her. I'm going with Tamina.
Either way, we are set for one of the greatest moments in wrestling history. If Tamina retains, she continues the best run of a champion in wrestling history.
Yes.
And Nia Jax, if she wins, she gets to be the one to end it.
Oh my God. Crazy.
I mean, either way, you've got WrestleMania moments.
Oh yeah. That's why this is the greatest WrestleMania we've ever seen.
This night will be full of WrestleMania moments. This, honest to God, could be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. I am so confident about that.
Yeah, there are several things that I rank and rate as the best things in my life. And, at the end of the night, this is going to be up there with it. We're going to have WrestleMania 9, the final season of Game of Thrones, going to the dentist, and then this WrestleMania. And it's just, I'm just so excited.
Imagine having something that compares to the Star Wars prequels. Something on that level of amazingness.
This is Phantom Menace level right now. Like, just powerful stuff. And you and I are truly blessed to be able to sit in this town, in this city of Little John Island, Maine, and to be able again to sit in the large Susan Sports Center, the LSSC, the LSSC. It's just, it doesn't get bigger than this. It doesn't get grander than this. The importance, the magnitude of this arena, this building, this town, these wrestlers, this card. I'm so thankful that we're here tonight. It's going to be amazing.
And we're sharing it with the awesome fans in attendance who you can hear so loud right now. I mean, I'm wearing a headphone and I can still hear them over my headset. It is the noise levels in here it's echoing throughout this sports hall here. It is insane. Like, these guys are pumped up. These guys are pumped up, and you're pumped up.
Yeah, I'm pumped up. You're pumped up. The audience is pumped up. Everybody watching at home. Oh man, it's the granddaddy of them all.
And everybody streaming this on YouTube, get over to the WWE Network and sign up to the network for free. It's free for new subscribers. Great. You get WrestleMania for free.
Do it. The fuck is wrong with you?
It's insane.
Do it now. It's so great. And then just cancel right after. You'll be fine.
Now,
don't cancel.
We are so close to WrestleMania now. Like, they're getting ready for it at the back. You've got the clock up in the bottom right corner of your phone screen or your monitor or your head. The clock's ticking down. Let's get some plugs in there before we go. Anthony, where can they find you on social media, and where can they find your podcast?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at AA Talk Stuff, and you can find my podcast on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher. It is titled Anthony Talks Stuff. I, of course, am Anthony, and yeah, that's me.
And don't forget, you can follow me, Dits, at Dits on Wrestling, and don't forget to find the DOWPOD, the Dits on Wrestling podcast, the unofficial sponsor of WrestleMania this year. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, any of your favorite podcasting apps. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and throw a cheeky review in there as well, because it always helps. WrestleMania is here, baby. I cannot wait for this to go down. Here we go.